How do how do I sound?
You sound very good, but let me just make sure my headphones are in real quick. Uh,
Please get your Yeti too. You got the Yeti?
my Can you hear me?
I need to get one low key.
No problem.
Yeah, big ass bulge.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me with your big ass bulge?
I hope Pia didn't hear that.
No, no, Pia's not here.
Oh, damn. I was hoping I'd see her today.
All right, so I am strong, I am powerful, I'm creative, I am resilient, I'm strong, I am powerful, I'm creative, I am resilient. I start the day every day saying those four affirmations. It's like really important for me, and it helps me prime my brain and my thoughts and my demeanor for the day. And it helps me stay positive when things aren't going well.
What's not going well?
Right now, everything's going pretty good. But when things don't go well, which inevitably happens, everybody has some curveballs getting thrown to them. Life happens. And when things don't go as well as we thought they would, how focused can we still be? How motivated, so to speak, can we still be and stay? A lot of times, this motivation itself isn't enough, right?
Hmm.
We need to put ourselves in position for success. We need to make things easy on ourselves, and we have to organize and systematize accordingly. And when things don't go well, as life tends to kind of throw these curveballs, how in the pocket can we be, as we use a football analogy, right? How calm can we be in the eye of the storm through all the
Mm.
chaos? And I think that takes practice. And well, what kind of practice? Everything that we've been talking about: breath work, a little exercise, making sure you're eating the right foods. A lot of times I notice this goes hand in hand. Eating shitty foods, having anxiety or negative thoughts.
Definitely.
What are your thoughts about that? When you eat poorly, you have poor thoughts.
So I've noticed like if I go on like let's say I go home to Chicago for like a week,
Hmm. Hmm.
have a few drinks, have some of my dad's cooking, I'm not it's not the healthiest routine I get into over there. And I notice I'm quicker to get mad about shit. And
Ah, a little more
like
irritable.
irritable, things offend me more, don't want to get out of bed as early. The
Hmm.
thought of working out, there's like a resistance. Like when you're on a good streak and it's just like it just happens. But then like when you get out of that flow, it's like it's harder to get the gears going again, is
You're
what I've
talking about
noticed.
momentum, my friend. That's momentum.
You know what I've gotten better at though is getting right back into the momentum. Like
That's
just
good.
like I feel like I can fall like all right, I know what to do. Boom. And I know like like yesterday I ate like shit, right?
Hmm.
But like today I was like and like like you eat like shit and then the next day you're hungrier because you're like craving the crappy foods. Like your body starts craving the crappy foods. But like I know if I just have one good meal, I'll like be right back in momentum.
Yeah, the
But
domino
just
effect, one
yeah,
thing at a time.
because
And you
it's like
slowly
I
get
know like,
yourself.
but I mean it's like it's that, but it's also like it's actually like the practical side of it is like if I just have like protein and fat for breakfast, I'm not gonna get as hungry early in the day. I'm not gonna have this like insulin spike and crash. Like there's like a science to
For
it as well.
most people,
I'm saying
right?
for
And
me.
for you, yes, exactly. A lot of times when people put their information out there and say, this is the only way to eat, and this is a great segue for talking about great Gary Brecka or whatever. But like for you, it works better when you have a protein rich, fat rich meal in the morning.
Hmm.
You feel satiated, you're more at equilibrium, you're calmer, you're steadier, you're not up and down emotionally, you're not as hungry. And for you, it works great. Is it the only way though?
No, definitely
May
not.
not be the only way. And that's like the gray area with some of this information that's out and debunking certain things and this being fully not true and that being fully not true or this is the only way. Like that's part of the problem with social media is we see these clips that ignite us. It's built for that. It's built to instill this crazy emotional reaction and get people fighting. Even though it does a great deal of good too. I just feel that some of this information out there, it doesn't have to be as black or white or binary, so to speak. There's so much
Hmm.
gray area given the individual and what their goals are specifically, and what works well for them. The best diet is the best diet that you could actually do, period.
The one you can stick to, yeah.
The one you can stick to, period. Okay.
Hmm.
And that's a lot of different things. But then that forces us to seek out higher levels of information, right? Like, how do you
Hmm.
figure out which style of eating is going to be the best for you? How do you do that?
How do I?
Yeah.
I think just like trial and error. Like I've always been into. I've been working out since I was in high school. I've lost weight and gained weight a bunch of times. I've done
Yeah.
bulks. I've done powerlifting. All this. So like just trying different stuff and then giving it real time and energy to see how it works. I think is.
That's the long way to do it, but that's not effective for people. They can't be doing the trial and error. They need to be told what is the best diet for me so I can do it. And that's like a hard thing, but like you realize it, you have the audacity to actually try to eat different ways and be disciplined enough and skilled enough. At least that's what you say. Um, but like, same thing with me. It's trial and error. It's what works. It's taking in information, understanding other ways to test for certain ways of how you would be able to process and digest food, like different blood tests. And this is what like Gary Brecka talks about, which I'm not like super familiar with, is that he tells people to do all this blood work and then you get information back. And based on the information, you
Hmm.
basically understand how well you're able to process raw material for actual usable energy because the body has to like break down and refine substances to use as energy.
Hmm.
And some people do that better than others. Like some people might be processing carbohydrates better than you, so to
Hmm.
speak. And I'll use better in like quotes. It's like
Hmm.
are you able to break down and utilize them as energy better? And how do you do that? And why? And why can person one do it and person two can't? And they need to have less carbohydrates or whatever. So I think that's the gist of it. It's like understanding individually how your body uses fuel, how you need to what do you call that, detox first in order to get your body back to like a certain equilibrium and then start to supplement for what you might be deficient in for your body to break down raw material more efficiently. Essentially, that was the gist I got from him. What are your main thoughts about Gary Brecka?
Well, I thought that the stuff he was saying was cool. Like early on, I would pay like all the stuff you talked about with the nutrients and how your body breaks it
Yeah.
down and turns it into other nutrients.
That was like what I got from him from the Rogan podcast, and then I heard him talk about him and Gary with Dana White, and I think the first thing obviously everyone heard of him from Dana White, and when someone like him gives that amount of praise, and everyone knows Dana White is like a real guy and no BS kind of guy, and then you got him talking positively about Gary Brecka, and then he's associated with Grant Cardone, who's massively known all over the place
Hmm.
internationally. It's like you get excited. Okay, you see those results. Now we got physical results that we could actually see that Dana White kind of transformed his body, right? And he's a high roller. The dude is in charge of like the biggest sport that's been kind of growing at this pace, and it's unstoppable, and it seems like it's still growing. So you got to be
Oh
in
yeah.
shape, mentally sharp, physically sharp, and all this stuff in order to run something of that magnitude. And he's in his 50s, and if you don't take care of yourself, you're going to go to shit in your 50s. um,
Well,
so you want to
so
hear what this guy out, right?
I do like so all of that. So like this is kind of the process I've gone through with him is like I saw you see all that and at the beginning it's like all right, I'm sold. Like look what he did with Dana. I want to be like this when I'm 50. Like you know, cool. But then like as time goes on, I've seen a lot of more stuff criticizing him.
Yeah.
And like for example, him and Dana did a podcast together on Gary Brecka's podcast where they went over the whole process of like fat Dana White coming to Gary Brecka to Dana White of today, who's like ripped and all his blood markers are where they should be now, and he's not going to die in 10 years. But like, he like kind of glossed over the fact that he put Dana on testosterone,
Mm.
and like, who knows what other supplements he put him on. And like that was one of the criticisms that I saw. Like it's like okay, yeah, all these vitamins you're giving him and stuff, that's cool. The cold plunge,
But they're not
cool.
talking about like the hormone
Yeah,
replacement therapy,
right.
which is like a major piece to why he looks so shredded.
Yeah,
But
but
that's
like
also like
and we know if you get on TRT, automatically you're gonna put on a little bit more muscle mass and burn more fat, even if you're just from your testosterone levels raising, your body will start holding more muscle and burning fat quicker. So it's like, how
yeah,
much does that play into everything? I don't know, but I'm not trying to even
totally.
criticize him.
No. I think another point of his criticisms too is that he has like little gadgets that he's claiming are crazy life changing. Like he's got some like I heard Lane Norton
Uh-huh.
criticize him for this like hydration stick, and he like uses the stick to stir the water and the water ions become more charged and that has a positive effect on your body, yada yada yada. And yeah, it was just like some magic wand, he called it. He was very, very critical. And he was basically saying how that's going to do nothing and that they sell these products. So be mindful every time somebody is trying to convince you that this is good when they sell those products. But like that's what the entire fucking internet is,
Hmm.
too. You know, like you listen to these people, you like what they have to say. They're also selling a whole bunch of shit. You
They're
know what I
promising
mean?
you these like life-changing, life-altering results, and then like selling you the dream. Like we see a guy like this every single year, like in the
Every
fitness world.
year, every 6 months, somebody comes
It's
out like
like
this.
Liver King, Carnivore MD, some before that it was some vegan guy. Now it's Gary Brecka, like, and then it's like this magic result. Like Liver King's telling you if you just eat meat
And stick
and
to your
and
nine
and
ancestral
and
tenets.
and eat ball sack, you're
Don't
gonna
forget
look
the
like
nine
him.
ancestral
Yeah,
tenets, dude.
it's like that's cool, but like then you have a guy like Jordan Syatt who you've interviewed,
Yeah.
who's literally like he'll just get on the internet every. I'm sure he loves it when he sees guys like this because he just gets on the internet and like shits on them, and he's like, and he's just like, all right, if you just if you eat if keto's the best diet for you, then that's what you should do. But if tracking your macros is the best diet for you, that's what you should do. And he's just like so practical and like not.
He's just like satire fitness comedy. Like he's trying to make people laugh through his stuff.
But
But
there's
I
like a
find
truth to it, you know.
yes, I I get really like frustrated too when people like shit on things constantly. Like we talked about this before. Like fasting is shit on a lot, but then again, it pops up in Bibles. Like it's something that a bunch of cultures have kind of ingrained. You know,
Mm,
if you look at when, evolving over this grandiose period of time to become what we've become, we weren't so abundant in food. We had to go out and kill it. So we have to like adapt to a way that we don't have food all the time. You know what I mean? And like fasting is a way that our body burns energy more efficiently, using fat for fuel. You give your body a break from digesting constantly. So like I would go back and talk about Jordan Sayed and he like shits on that a little too much, which can be confusing to people,
mm.
because again, things aren't always so binary. There's gray area, you know what I mean? Especially for each individual. Like if you tried fasting and it doesn't work for you, so be it. Then it's not your thing. Find another way to eat. But if you're struggling with, really, really, if you're struggling with weight and it's hard to get pounds off your body and you've been overweight for a long time, you really got to analyze how you eat, when you eat, what triggers you to eat, emotionally, what's involved. Like there's so much that goes into that. And then it's like adjust your, and it's so much easier said than done because we're so automatically hooked on ways of living that may not be optimal, but they're just comfortable. Like when you go back home, you kind of fall back into your old habits, right?
Hmm.
Familiar scenery, you're with mom and dad, you're not as into the workflow as you would be if you were in New York, right? So we
Hmm.
slide back into old habits and it's very easy. So making a life-changing thing, right? Like all these guys are trying to sell us, like if you just buy our program, or if you just buy this product, or if you do this thing, it's going to be life-changing. And potentially it can be, but there's so many moving parts and you got to constantly keep finding and accessing higher levels of knowledge, try and see what works for you, see what doesn't work for you. What's the best thing that works for you in your lifestyle and what you want to do with your life. And a lot of times folks don't have that figured out and things change along the way and it's hard to make adjustments. Like life is fucking hard.
Hmm.
And it's all the more reason for like community and why that's important and being around uplifting people to keep you going when shit hits the fan because we're going to have high points, we're going to progress, we're going to plateau, we're going to drop a little bit, we're going to have bad points, we're going to have to figure out new stuff, we're going to adjust, adapt, and keep going. This is what life is all about. And having the right people around is a massive, massive benefit. Um, being more self-aware every single day and working on your faults and improving your strong points is very, very important. Um,
What do
and
you?
all the other stuff, the exercise, the breathing, the eating anti-inflammatory foods, getting a little bit clearer on what type of diet you should be on, right? Maybe you do need to have a little bit more fat and protein and bring the carbs down. Maybe you do need to have a little bit more carbohydrates based on your lifestyle and your body type and what you're trying to achieve, and moderate protein and fat. It depends on the person, what they're trying to get out of it. And like how deep in the hole they're starting from or where their starting point is because everyone's got a different starting point too,
Yeah.
so when we're listening to all this content hitting us from so many different avenues and we're so addicted to just numb scrolling and taking these bits of information in 20, 30, 40-second pockets, it's hard to like anchor yourself and get a grip and be like, what is true? What's fundamentally true? Well, first, and then second, like, what's the best way for me to go about my journey, which
Well,
can be a lot of ways. I'm sorry, I'm
what?
ranting.
No, you're good. What do you think? The do you think like the best way to kind of figure it out is to just have an internal dialogue with yourself that where you're just completely honest about the reality of your
I
situation
think
and
honesty is huge. I think
yeah.
honesty is big. That's a big word you just said there. And yes, I think being honest has so much to do with it. And reflecting on your honest thoughts. And you can do that in a lot of different ways. Journaling, talk therapy, expressing yourself in art form or some sort of creative form, right?
Hmm.
But yes, I think that truthful dialogue in your head is, you got to keep it positive and you have to be honest with yourself for sure.
Yeah, and then like I mean I feel like we always end up back like right here, which is like it's all kind of intertwined. Like it seems like like you were saying earlier, like the way you eat might be related to like how you deal with stress, and
Hmm.
then what stresses you out. Why do you get so stressed out about certain things? What things trigger you? It's all based on your upbringing or your life experiences, and then like how it
Yeah.
all relates.
Yeah.
So I think it's
And
yeah, it's just like, but then these guys come along like a Gary Brecka, and they're just like, do this for this result, do this to be the ultimate human.
I don't feel like that's their message per se. I just feel like he's just another guy out there putting his 2 cents and he got big and he's around the
I
right
don't
guys.
I don't think it's that uncalculated, to be honest. I think you don't link up with a Grant Cardone and a Dana White, transform them, and then document it all publicly, and then it's just accidental. It's just serendipity. Like that's a strategy. That's a
Yeah, right.
marketing strat.
I
That's
agree. Yeah.
investors getting together and coming up
Yes,
with a
yes.
plan to blow up a business. So my
Yeah.
point is, I feel like that's why I brought up Jordan Syatt because like it seems like he's always the guy like critiquing those guys, and like we kind of need that because not to say that a good carnivore MD or a Gary Brecka can't help you, but it's like there's always these guys that get this hype and then they're selling you a product and it's like is that the best thing for everybody? Is that like what the world completely needs
Yeah.
forever,
It's
you know?
it is good, and yeah, it's good that there are people out there that are picking out their faults. But like, dude, people are human. Not everyone's going to be perfect, and like as good as Rogan is for the world, there are so many people out there nitpicking all the bull crap he says to shreds, you know? And no matter how put together you are, there's always going to be somebody out there calling you out on you for being a bullshit artist and trying to sell stuff. Like a lot of people are giving Brecca crap, and I'm like, I like what he has to say. I'm interested in learning a little bit more. I think a lot of the stuff he says aligns with holistic exercise wellness values like grounding, getting sunlight, sauna treatment, moving your body, supplementing for your deficiencies. He talks about gene testing and how they're a little bit more like some like specific genes, whether they're turned on or turned off, whether they help or hurt you when it comes to metabolizing food or whatever it is for having optimal energy. Like all that stuff is very interesting to me because like there's definitely needs to be a change in how we view medicine and preventative healthcare, right? Because nowadays there are more people than ever in their 30s and 40s that are contracting turbo cancers, they call them. You
What's
know,
that?
like a cancer that's rapidly growing so fast that kills them. 30s, 40s, 50s, like younger people
Why do you think that
having,
is? That's
yeah,
crazy.
that's it. It's crazy, right? So like my point is like we can get into why that is, and I can just give you my opinions, but like my point is like we need a different way that we're viewing health and wellness and longevity for the human being for generations to come because we can't keep having these issues happen like this. Like there's a significant problem when people in their 30, obviously we're healthier than ever, right? We're living longer than ever. But then again, like there's new ways that we're utilizing technology that changes the way we live. It's going to change the way we think. It's going to change the way our brain works. It's going to change the way that we operate.
Hmm.
And we see some of the negatives from a health and longevity standpoint and some of these cases, like people in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, cancer, or people getting Alzheimer's more, or heart attacks, heart issues in youngsters, heart issues in people in their 40s and their 50s. Then you
What?
get, I mean, well, the reason
Why
for
do
why
you?
it could be a
Yeah.
lot of things.
What do you like? I mean, you deal with people all the time in their entire wellness picture.
Well, I think a
From
lot of it comes down to like the Western values, and it's like so fast paced and go, 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 and everyone is weighing out their time and their finances, and they're trying to figure that out while also simultaneously trying to be loved and wanting to love others and be seen and respected, right? We're always trying to figure that out in this social media digital world. At the same time, like life is so fast paced. You got income, you got money going out. That's hard on people to manage. At the same time, they're trying to figure out their identity. You got food that is just hyper processed and fake, and there's all kinds of energy drinks out and all kinds of pills that people are on, and the drugs today that people are on, whether it's from pharmaceutical grade or it's from the street, it's different than how it used to be. People are vaping more. That never been a thing before. Um, we're on our phones way more than we have ever been. We're
I
sucked
have a,
into all kinds of like digital stuff when it comes to video games and phone and whatever it is, all these different apps. People are way more sedentary. There's not as much stability when it comes to understanding uh, job and their role within a job and staying at a job. I don't know if that's good or bad. Like, millennials and generations younger don't stay at a job for 10, 20, 30 years like previous generations. They're hopping from different places and different things. It's just what people are doing now. People are becoming more independent. They're trying to figure out how to become a personal brand because everyone's able to personal brand now with the technology that we have available to us. Life is different. The pace that we're living is very fast. So there's a lot
Well,
of reasons why we have these problems, and I'm not sure it can
do
be singled down to one.
do you think like maybe life is inherently more stressful today?
I guess that's a relative thing. It's a relative way to look at it. Like back in the day, stresses were different to what the stresses are today. You know, everyone's
So,
stresses on like, I don't know. What's your
yeah.
question?
No, it definitely couldn't be. I don't think. I don't think life today could be more stressful than life in 1940 for the average human being. Like
I mean, again, different stresses,
but it could be. I mean, yeah, it's weird. It's
different
relative.
different stresses that utilize different skill sets from people.
So,
And we're trying to learn to operate in this digital world today, mentally and emotionally. It's very difficult when you're 12 years old and you're handed a fucking iPhone and you're worried about what everyone's saying about you on the internet and you're trying to like develop an identity on the internet at the same time trying to develop an identity in real time in real life. When I was growing up, I didn't have to worry about an internet identity. I was just hyper focused on my identity, period, and learning to interact with people. And, we think about that hierarchy system when we're growing up in high schools. Like there's older kids, there's younger kids, there's people in our grade that we're trying to like, subconsciously develop like I'm the top dog in this group and everyone's going to notice me. We're all trying to get noticed. We're all trying to develop our skills subconsciously. Like we're put in this school environment. We don't know any better. This is just what it is. But humans, a lot of species on this planet, they work in packs and they develop this system, this hierarchy system, and survival of the fittest. The highest functioning males and the highest functioning females come together to procreate. It's just like how we're hardwired, you know? And we're doing that in the digital world today. We're doing that in the physical world today. We have so many other kinds of distractions that are easily accessible.
mhm.
And then we've had conversations in the past about getting clear on what those core values are before everything else starts to take over. And quickly today, people are being taken over with all the material.
Do you think like the type of food so if we're eating foods all the time that inflame our bodies, right?
Say that again?
W- The average American is eating a very inflammatory diet, correct?
Yeah, I would say the average American.
And then if your body's inflamed, you're gonna feel more stressed. Your body's gonna feel under attack. You're not gonna be in your parasympathetic mode of being as much, right?
It's not going to be as turned on, the parasympathetic mode, if you're inflamed all the time. Your body's working at lower capacities because of the fuel that you're providing it. Sure.
So and then like so let's you're eating crappy all the time, your body's inflamed all the time, you're more stressed out, plus the stresses of life are all piled on that.
Yep. Then you're not
Now
getting
you're
enough
just
sleep. You're probably not hydrating. You're definitely not mineralizing. That's for sure. You're probably not having healthy connections with your spouse and people in the community and your children. It trickles down, you know?
and then like they say stress is like the number one cause of any kind of mortality, like
It's
heart attack,
definitely
cancer.
it's it's definitely a massive factor. It has to be. Like
So
when it comes to like emotional states, that is hard on our physical form, right?
yeah.
Like when we're fundamentally behaving from a place of guilt, when we're fundamentally behaving from a place of resentment, that will manifest in our physical form, in our creative efforts, in our relationship. It manifests. And we're being fueled by that, which I think ultimately can be destructive to the physical form and have an effect on your organs.
So
Like
how do we
Dr.
stop like giving a shit so much?
It's yeah, yeah, it's all going to be individualized, like we've stated already, but it's just getting clear on what's really important to you. and asking yourself why this is costing me all this energy,
Yeah.
whatever situation you seem to be in, you know? And a lot of it's our own doing. A lot of it's our own way of being, our attitude and effort. Sometimes like we might have this victim attitude and we don't even realize it. We have to snap out of it. Why
Yeah, I've noticed
me?
like sometimes I get like angry and then I'm like, but I don't have to be. I'm just choosing to like focus on this thing. Like something
Mhm.
negative comes across my mind, right? Like I've noticed like lately I'll be in like a funk where like I'll just like if something negative crosses my mind, I just focus on it. And like I'm more prone to like going down that rabbit hole versus like but like the other day I kind of realized like I don't have to do that. Like that's all just like a choice. It's like an addiction almost. Like you don't
Yeah.
have to like be negative about this.
Yeah.
I mean, that's hard to do, especially when it's
Joe
a habit.
Dispenza, Joe Dispenza talks about like we're addicted to some of those emotions, some of those low level vibration, those cortisol, adrenaline rising moments. Like if we don't get them because we're so used to them, then we seek out subconsciously or unconsciously a way to find these things to be put into your reality somehow.
Can we like go down this rabbit hole? Because
Sure,
I'm curious about this. So like,
sure.
why would we if stress doesn't feel good, if it physically wears me out and I'm sick and tired of feeling that, why would I seek it out? Why is it addictive? What's addictive about it?
Well, we definitely need pressure to build diamonds. So there's like with weight training, for example, we definitely need to go against resistance and pressure in order to get stronger,
Yes.
right? So mentally and emotionally, like we're pressing ourselves to learn more about ourselves. Now, I think the best way to aim to live is from your heart with gratitude, with pride, with courage, with love, ultimately. And when it comes to and just being more self-aware on like when it's not those emotions fueling you, you know, and everyone's going to be different. Everyone's going to be wired differently, and they're going to pick and choose which emotions are fueling them, and they'll have to figure out like what situations they get into and if it's worth it for them or not. Like we talk about this with Michael Jordan and Tiger Woods last time we spoke. It worked for Michael Jordan to be fueled by some of the haters. Sometimes it's a decent strategy. A lot of people may not be built for that. It's too much on their bodies, too much on their nervous system. But some people, they don't give a fuck. It's like, oh yeah, you want to say that about me? Great. I'm going to prove to you why this is not the truth. And here's what the truth really looks like. And I'm going to dominate, you
Mm.
know? Uh, God, human beings are so complex and different that we're all wired in a different way. Who's to say which way is the right way? But why are we addicted to those emotions? I don't know. That could be an upbringing thing. That could be a conditioning thing, and we have to decondition those responses, right? If you catch yourself getting frustrated at a time where you don't necessarily need to be, and it's not going to add value to the situation, and every time you get frustrated or angry, you say, "Oh shit, okay, don't let myself get like that. I'm going to bring it back to a calm center." I find myself getting really frustrated when my dogs jump up and take food out of my hand. They never had a problem jumping up on the table before. Okay. Now it's been a problem because my son is now eating and he throws stuff at the dogs and the dogs are like ready for it. So they just have like this
Ah,
open invitation to fucking jump on the table and eat and all this stuff. And they're like 7 and 9 now. There's no teaching them. I mean, I guess we could really teach them if we put all the time, but we don't have the fucking time. So my point is like that happens and I get so frustrated. And I've been vocal about how frustrated I am about how it's unacceptable for these dogs to behave this way. And I say this to my wife, and we have to figure out a solution. In the meantime, I'm going to choose to not be so frustrated over it. I'm going to put my energy towards a solution. So when I do catch myself get really mad, that son of a bitch just took something out of my hand, unacceptable, or jumped on the top of the table, unacceptable, or whatever. I feel it, I recognize it, and I shift back to a more calm manner because I know getting angry and frustrated is not going to help the situation. Put that energy towards solution, but
So
that
that's
takes
like really
practice.
hard.
That's very hard. And I think meditation, for example, and like that was just an example of like my normal state being one, and then quickly getting to a angry or frustrating mode because of something happened or a
Hmm.
triggering moment. And that can be any type of scenario. But when you feel yourself being triggered in that regard, hold it for a second. Don't react. Bring
Hmm.
yourself back to a calm moment and then react or respond, I think is a better term. And I think meditation has taught me that, right? It's like when you're focusing on your breathing and your mind goes astray, shifting it back to the breathing. It's a practice of recognizing your brain or your focus shifting and then readjusting that focus. And the more you do that, up and down, recognize your brain goes astray, you're thinking about this or that. Oh, wait a minute, not the breathing anymore. Bring it back to the anchor point, which is the breathing. And you can do this in ways when you're again getting frustrated or feeling an emotion that's not going to be beneficial to you right now, and then pause, put the energy towards a solution, put the energy towards something beneficial, put the energy towards something where you and your partner or you and the people can move forward in unison, as opposed to I'm right, you're wrong, you're an idiot, I'm the smartest, whatever,
Hmm.
and move forward that way. And you can do this dance with yourself. This is appropriate for relationships. This is appropriate for teams, I think. And the goal is the goal. It's get to the promised land together, whatever that is, the idea coming to fruition, winning the game, winning the fight, or the next problem to be solved in the business, whatever. And I think pain or those emotions are there so that you can figure out what is the most harmonious way to live and continue on. But that takes practice, man. That's not easy to do because we're ego driven and we get wrapped up with our identity in the process or wrapped up with our identity in the
Hmm.
idea, and when the idea gets shot, then our identity gets hurt, and that's hard for the ego to deal with. Ego's great because you get stuff done. Ego's not so great when it's conflicting with people on your team or people that are in your life, or even with conflicting thoughts. Your ego wants to say, no, 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 I'm not that. But deep down inside, you might be that. You might
Hmm.
be lazy in certain regard. You might not be giving as much attention as you should in certain areas. And that's a hard pill to swallow when you have those realizations. It's like, wow, have I been doing that this whole time? Who else is affected by this? That old Eastern philosophical quote, how you do anything is how you do everything. I think that's a
Yeah.
real thing.
Hmm.
I think that's a real thing. I really do. And that's really hard for me to swallow, especially when I realize how, unproductive or lazy I can be in certain areas of my life where it's like, wait a minute, how else am I doing that? And how destructive is it to me and my business, my family, my relationships, etc.
Yeah, or like when you have a bad habit or a flaw, and then someone tells you how it's affecting, like, you think it's fine because like, for example, I'm a little messy. Like, I'm not like the cleanest, most organized guy, and like
Hmm.
that works for me if I'm just single and I'm not crossing paths with
Right.
anybody. But like the second I make a mess and I'm living in someone's house, or my girlfriend comes over and my room's messy and she tells me
Yeah.
it bothers her, or like, I leave a mess in someone else's car. Like, I leave a piece of garbage
Oh,
in someone else's car,
listen,
and then
you
they
got
tell
it.
you, and then I'm like, oh shit, like this is actually affecting other people. Like, to me, this is no big deal because I've understood how to navigate not having
Yeah.
the cleanest room. But like now I realize this is affecting other people and it's actually bothering other people. Now I'm insecure about it. Now I need to fix the problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And that's tough when you're making your problem other people's problems and you convince yourself it's no problem, but then when others are trying to work in a synchronized manner with you, it becomes an issue. And
Yeah.
that's just a minor pill for the average person to swallow. When you realize like a bigger thing, let's make an example here. When you realize like maybe jealousy or shame is playing a major role in why you're acting a certain way towards somebody, but that's not what you're thinking, that you're doing, and you realize, oh shit, I'm coming at this situation, this problem from a jealous and shameful manner. And I just want them to feel that way because I feel that way.
I want them
That's a
to validate my shit, you know?
Yes, that's a fucking real problem to be in because then you realize that for a small second, like, oh my goodness,
And I'm
what
like
am I?
burdening this person.
Yes, yes, yes. And although that might be hard pill to swallow, it's the start of a new flower to blossom. And you can like that old part of you can die and you
Yeah.
could reform if you so choose to, because a lot of this is like how you choose to approach something, again, which takes hard nervous system work, breath work. I think the cold plunge is great for this, right? Because the
Interesting.
cold plunge, like you're putting yourself in a situation where it's like, oh my God, I'm gonna die, but you could override those thoughts with your brain and you can get
Huh.
calm in chaos. I think that that's a
S-
great metaphor here that you can be used to when you're doing all the shadow work on yourself. It's like, wait a minute. I realize that's part of me right now, but I'm going to shed that. I'm gonna fit whenever that moment comes up again. I'm going to recognize that that's not serving myself or serving anybody else, and I'm going to shed that right now, whatever that
And
specific thing is.
I think a good okay, when you're in a relationship with a person, whether it's a friendship or a romantic partnership or a business relationship, typically that's when these flaws you have will come up. And
Mhm.
like that's when you have to address them. If I'm just alone and not
I also
dealing,
think that might be late. You might be late already if you're addressing them when the other piece of the relationship is there.
uh-huh.
It may
Wait,
be
go deeper on that.
okay, like that person may have already felt that negative part of your bad habit
Uh-huh.
for months, weeks, months already before they've even told you that it bothers them,
Yeah.
right? So you're already late to the party until you realize, oh shit, you have this aha moment where you're like, wait a minute, she's right. They're right. I need to clean this up. I need to clean this up. And I need to clean it up
Yeah.
now, especially if you find value in the relationship, you know? But
Yeah, because if that then it's
right?
like if I don't clean this up, I'm not gonna have this anymore. And then
Well,
it's
it
like
may
pressure's
be
on.
it's just another dent where you don't have to. It's a dent in the relationship, and at some point the car has too many dents or it's undrivable.
Yeah,
And you
like I
don't
need to
want
fix
that
this.
you don't want those in any of your relationships, your business relationships and your romantic relationships. Like I think transparency is really important, and honestly being honest is very important, like you were talking about earlier, like the honest conversation with yourself. If you're going to be honest with yourself, you have to be honest with your partner. It's the only way you're going to have like a cohesive relationship. There's no way relationships that become successful are successful on lies. It may work for a certain amount of time, but then all the lies have to organize together to become cohesive with all the other lies. And then at some point, the human can't keep track of all the fakeness that they've kind of contributed to the relationship, and it all falls apart.
So
But and it's ultimately destructive too, dude. It's destructive to the psyche. It's destructive to the physical,
what is?
like lying.
Oh, definitely.
It's
Definitely.
destructive, and whether or not you want to believe in dharma and karma, like if you keep lying, you're headed for some sort of disaster.
Thousand
And
percent.
then you're living in a real hell. And that's just something that you've kind of done for yourself. But I can see where lies can be beneficial in getting you out of a sticky situation if you find yourself in a situation and that's the only thing you know. But at some point, you become
It's very
stable
short
enough.
term though.
Yeah, right. At some point, like you don't have to lie. And if you keep lying, it becomes part of what you are.
You know
And then
why?
you
You know
have to
why lying
keep
is
doing it.
bad? Because it's like honesty is transformative. Like I feel like that's kind of the theme of this piece of the conversation we're in right now is like when you're in relationship with people and you're honest with each other and then you assess the problem from an honest point of view, you transform for the better. You both do.
If you
And so
if you want it to,
if you
if you
want,
want it to.
that's why I said from an honest point of view. Like Danny, if you
Yeah.
say, Jake, I think you're being lazy, I have two options. I could say I'm not being lazy. He's a fucking dickhead, and I'm gonna keep acting how I act. Or I could say he's right. Let me get my shit together
Yeah.
and change for the better. You know what I
And on the
mean?
other side of it, like having that conversation and approaching you in that manner would be also a very like you have to do it properly.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I struggle with this, you know?
Uh huh.
And I think Gary Vee was also talking about how like when he works with people and he's got an employee of his that he really likes that isn't doing the work they're supposed to, he says he
Mm-hmm.
dances around that and he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't like address it fast enough. And like because if he likes somebody, he has a hard time really giving them the
Hurting their
honest
feelings.
feedback that might
Yeah.
be that might be hurtful. But then again, it kind
Yeah.
of goes inside with the theme too of like having that pressure and then deciding whether or not you want to take that information and be better, or you want to take that information, be salty, and then trash the guy and go find somewhere
Well,
else.
but I think so so these like honest hard conversations and like the process of growth is gonna be stressful. Like it's
Yes.
me knowing I'm inadequate in some area and knowing that I have to grow to get out of this inadequacy is a stressor on my life.
Hmm.
But like and then it's like there's got to be a balance of like how much of that can I take at one time
Yeah.
where before I'm just like fuck this, you know what I mean? Like I can't do
Yeah.
all this right now. So I
Yeah.
think that but I was gonna say earlier, stress stress is actually kind of a good thing. You know what I mean? In the right
It
dose.
of course. Of
Like
course.
good
It's
stress.
like weight. Yeah, it's like good weightlifting is a good thing.
Yes.
It's a good
But
thing. You should
until you
weight
do it
lift
too much.
until you
If you
do
do
too
it too
much.
much, then you fuck your hamstring up and then you're just now you can't lift any weights, you
My
know?
favorite analogy is going back to simple water and fire. Water hydrates you and it's good. Too much water drowns you, kills you, and it's bad. Fire, same thing, keeps you warm and cooks your food. Too much of it burns you, hurts you, kills you, destroys tissue,
Mm,
right? So
hmm.
good, bad. It depends on what the fuck the point is,
Yes.
right? So
And
when it
then you
comes
got
to
to
like,
ask yourself, is this stress helping me in my life or is it
does it
am I
serve or does it not serve?
exactly. If it's making you
Yes
better,
or
then
no?
it's a good thing.
Right. And then I also tend to say choose your stressors wisely or else they will choose you. Maybe I'll write a book about that. Choose your stresses wisely for the audacious few. I've done that in every single podcast we've done.
I know.
I'm waiting for you to clip
Choose.
out all the Patrick Bet David.
No,
Patrick
we'll
Bet.
do.
Okay, did you see the pull it up, Rob? Did you see the clips from yesterday? Chris Cuomo and Trump were talking. Pull this up, Rob. Pull this up, Rob.
That's
What do you
so
think about
funny.
it? Uh,
That's so funny.
Tom. That's how. You ever listen to him?
Patrick Bet David?
Yeah, he's the
Daily.
best. He's
Yeah.
the best.
He's like what I want to
So
be in my life.
yeah, all right. Me too. Just
Yeah.
a minority owner of a massive sports team
That's
and
sick. I don't know if I care about
CEO
that, but
CEO of Valuetainment and Monect. What do you think about Monect? Have you heard about Monect?
I have. I think
That's that's
it's like
interesting.
it's a cameo, but like better, I think.
How does Cameo work?
It's the same shit. You just buy like videos from people, like custom videos, or
But
they talk to you. But Connect is like I can
Monect,
book you for 15 minutes and have a video call, or like get you to or ask you a question and you answer it in a video,
yeah, or
and it's like
text or
with these
whatever.
celebrities. So I think what he's doing is like signing all these big names and bringing them on, and then like getting people want to talk to those people, so they do a Connect.
94% of Monects have been answered within a 24-hour time. When you use the direct message on Instagram, sometimes you may get a direct message back, sometimes you may not. But with Monect, you have a 94% return rate.
All
But like it's interesting because if you do want to ask Patrick Bet David a little bit deeper questions about his book, is it like like hey Pat, a great book. The title is a little like Choose Your Enemies Wisely. I get it. However, this is a book about choosing your emotional enemies wisely. This is a book on figuring out what fuels you.
Mm,
It's a little bit of a spiritual type thing, right? But it also gives you practical kind of advices for the physical realm, the third dimension. You're taking your emotions, which is external dimensions, whatever you want to call that, and then learning to channel them in physical form. And I would ask him, what are your thoughts? Like, is that a good interpretation of what the book is?
mm.
And then he would give you a message back. But I don't know how much he charges per message, per minute. A $500 1 minute Manek to FaceTime from Patrick Bet David.
$500 1 minute Manect.
I think I don't know what that I don't know if that's true,
Fuck
but
that.
like that's like is it that's another question. Is it worth it? Like if you do a Andrew Tate's on there, your boy Andrew Tate,
My
uh,
boy? Oh, I did
your
hang out with
boy
him. Yeah.
your boy Andrew Tate. Oh, I did hang out with him one
I
time. I
did.
gotta.
Just got on the yacht. No biggie. In Dubai. Whatever. No big deal.
That's funny.
That was like right
Um,
when he got canceled.
I
Like
know that
taken
was
off
like
the internet.
that was at the height of everything. That was yeah, that was cool. That was like
And
right
then
when I learned about him when he got canceled.
I posted a picture with him on my Instagram, and like three of my female friends like got triggered by it and fucking texted me,
Oh my God.
and then I was like, fuck this, I'm taking this down. But I should have kept it up, to be
You
honest.
took it down?
Fuck, I'm fucking putting it back up. I don't care.
Wow, you pussy ass bitch. You took it down? Come on.
You know what the thing is about me? I like to keep the peace, Danny.
I know,
I
but when you're trying to keep everybody happy, you keep nobody happy. It's one of those things. It's the same thing. It's like how you do anything is how you do everything. When you're trying to make everybody happy, you make nobody happy, dude.
This is true.
Okay? I'm
How do
telling
I
you.
unarchive a post? This
Oh,
way.
because
Oh,
you met him one night. Was he nice?
very.
Was he
Him and
respectful?
yeah, and his brother. I told them I like how close they are as brothers. I think that's a good thing.
Accommodating?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, it's not like we were
Was there
talking all night, but they
anything
were
was
cool.
there anything from your interaction with the Tate brothers that was out of left field or incongruency with some of his what do you call that?
No, it was
Accusations?
um I didn't get that vibe. I mean, there was a bunch of girls
So did
that he was
anybody
talking
feel
to.
uncomfortable?
No, no,
Everybody good vibes from
great
what you can
vibes.
see.
Yeah, everyone wanted to be there. It was a good time. No one was weird.
There.
He
There
was
you
nice to
go.
everybody. He talked to
First
everybody.
time.
Like, yeah, he's cool.
Yep, that's firsthand experience right there. Sometimes you can't always, a lot of times, is what we're
Oh, you
finding
know why I
out.
took it down? It's because he got accused of all that, and I was like, I don't need this in in line with my.
So what is his where did it come down to? He's acquitted of everything so far right now. Like they don't have a piece of
I don't even know.
evidence that he was trafficking humans.
I couldn't tell you.
I listened to all 5 hours of the podcast he did with Patrick Bet David and Adam Sosnick. They did 5 hours with him in his home in Romania when he was on house arrest, and they
Yeah,
told the whole story about everything. I listened to all the podcast. It's very interesting. It seems like they're just trying to silence a guy who's got a ton of reach. It just seems like that to
that's
me.
how it. Yeah, I would agree. I
You
would
know,
agree. I
you
don't
don't have to
think.
like him. You don't have to like him, right? But I'm just saying, like,
Here's my thing.
he technically
Like
didn't do anything illegal yet. Like he hasn't
people
been.
people get so triggered by like what people say, and I just look at it as like it's all marketing. Like this guy, you know Ryan Garcia?
Oh, the boxer, yeah, King Ryan.
He like he went viral leading up to his last fight just because he was like saying all these crazy things and saying that he went to Bohemian Grove and they forced him to watch children get raped and just saying all these very like hot triggering things. And the whole time I was saying this is marketing for his fight. Like, you
Hmm.
see how viral he's going. You see he has a fight coming up. It's a pay-per-view fight. He's gonna make a shit ton of money if this thing sells a lot of pay-per-views.
Yeah, right.
Okay, why do you think he's saying all this right now? Like, to me, it's like simple. But everyone else was like, no, he's serious. He went to Bohemian Grove. He's all this stuff is real. And I'm just like, okay. Turns out he comes out after the fight and says he was faking, he was acting crazy to get views. That's
Yeah.
what Andrew Tate
And
was doing too. He's saying all these crazy things to get views, but people actually get so triggered by this. It's like that's like the problem with the West right now, I think, is like we're so like on the internet taking stuff seriously that everyone says. Like people are like actually losing sleep, getting stressed out, and like their emotional state is actually affected by what people they don't know in person are saying to get
hmm
views.
hmm
Like
yeah,
that is like a silly thing.
it is a silly thing,
And like,
but
why don't
people
we see
seek it
through this
out.
by now? We don't. But it's exactly. It's like this happened. This has
Peop
happened. Kanye does this every 3 years when he's about to drop an album in a Yeezy line. He starts saying crazy shit and going viral as hell, and like it works every time, and no one like sees that there's a pattern here. They just think he's
hmm
like having an episode. I'm like, no,
Yeah,
he's doing this on purpose because it works every single time. He's been doing this since the early 2000s when he's went on TV and says George Bush hates black people.
that's right.
He's been doing this every time, but like somehow no one sees the pattern. No one's like when people Donald Trump says crazy things, gets people riled up, and people still are getting riled up. Like he's not like they're not being manipulated. Like how do you not see what's going on? Like how do you not see what these people are doing to
Donald
you?
Trump is a whole nother, it's a whole nother thing. Are you for Trump? You for Trump? You like Trump? Are you a
I
Trumper?
do. Well,
Oh,
yeah, I
oh,
wouldn't
you're
say I'm a
going out on this
Trumper.
podcast saying you're a Trumper
I'm
and
not a
you're worried about a
Trumper.
fucking Andrew Tate post.
Well, dude, Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
I'm not. I just put that post back on my profile, by the way.
Yeah. All right. That's a way to go.
But no, I wouldn't say I'm a Trumper. I'm not voting for Biden. Fuck that.
It's amazing to me, like, and not to go political here, but like how many people think that like that's the best option because anything but Trump.
Okay, I someone in my family, I like my a lot
I
of
just
my
don't understand
family's
that. How
no.
like how
Can
is
I tell
that?
you something? I'm gonna
Go
paint
ahead.
this picture for you.
Okay.
So somebody in my family, literally, we're talking about Trump and Biden, and I said something about like, because my
Dangerous
family's
waters.
a lot of my family's very liberal, like to the point where like if you say you like Trump, they're gonna be fucking pissed off at you.
You
Like
don't
it's a
say.
problem. So I'm just all I said was like, yeah, well the economy was a lot better under Trump, right?
Oh,
And then
dangerous.
but they were like, oh no, like I don't think so. I think the economy is better than it's ever been. Biden saved the country, and he's so sharp mentally. I mean, look at him. I
He
saw him
said
on a
that?
podcast. My it was my aunt, and she was like literally saying how like mentally sound Biden is, and how he's not senile at all. Like these are her words, and I'm like,
Yeah,
you.
that's
So
weird.
half of our country thinks that. Like they're so far off.
Do they really think that that's what a coherent person is supposed to look like?
No, but here's why she said that. Because he did a podcast with like two like very A-list celebrities from Hollywood. I forget which. It was like two actors, right? Like that are
Yeah,
very
yeah.
famous.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
It was
like
on
he
the
sound
Smart List podcast. It was the Smart List podcast.
yeah, and she was like, "Oh yeah, he sounded really sharp on there." And I'm like, "Yeah, you're like we're in two different worlds right now because I know that they can make him sound sharp through editing and giving him runtime so he knows what the questions are and but like when he's on stage like reading the teleprompter and he like says pause when it
Yeah,
says to
right.
pause like and
That's
he's
not
just
sharp.
make and there's like a million of these examples where he's like looking slow or falling down the stairs or like definitely has dementia but like they don't see
Oh,
that because
dude.
it's like not the content they consume so like half of our country is literally in a different planet of reality
Yeah. Yeah.
than we
And
are.
is that due to like algorithms these days and how people are having their content kind of curated for them, affirming certain things? Because it's like you can't
Yeah.
be somebody like, I mean, no disrespect. to your aunt or anything, but like, how can you see that guy and think that's coherent? You know,
Well, they
like
would say the
my,
same thing about Trump for us.
but
And
I'm
like,
not like a,
but like,
again, I'm not like a crazy Trumper by any stretch. Like, I just don't understand like why a guy like RFK is not getting the accolades he should be getting in this war or in this race where it's like three different guys, with the current guy being just somebody that's like, how could you vote for that again? One.
not,
And then you
yeah,
have Trump, who has like the far right conservative people kind of, just um, in his corner, and nothing else works but Trump. But he might not be the right rhetoric for people in this country. But then you got a guy like RFK who is in the independent race, but everyone says that the independent has no chance. But I don't understand why. How come the Green Party or the independent person never really has a chance? Like, why does it have to be all one or the other? It doesn't make any sense
mm,
to me. You have a
I,
perfectly awesome third option who looks to be like transparent and wants to change the way that things are run. There's some sort of swamp down there. There's some sort of like uh other organization seems to be running government and not Joe Biden.
I heard an
And that's
interesting
what that's
thing.
what that's what people on the left don't ever want to admit. Like, oh, that's nonsense. There's not like a an elite, or what do you call that? Um,
Illuminati.
the deep state,
Yeah.
not Illuminati. I don't like using that term, but the deep state. But I feel like Illuminati, whatever you want to fucking call it, something else is running the country besides Biden, in my opinion. Not to get political, because this is not a
Well, yeah,
political
no, obviously
podcast.
that guy's in no shape to run a
But it's
country.
just weird to me that we find ourselves in this situation. But I'm not, a politics kind of guy. So
I saw something that like I mean I think this would be an interesting segue. I saw something today about how depraved our society is. Like this is kind of going in a different direction, but like kind of related to this, but like our society's so like depraved like in terms of like the vices we have and like the access to pleasure we have and
depraved. What do you mean depraved?
like at the end of every civilization you kind of see like a depraved
Morally corrupt.
yeah like so like for example um we a lot of our country is like addicted to porn and watching these like extreme genres of pornography, and then there's like gambling is at an all-time high in terms of accessibility, and everyone is
Hmm.
betting all the time and
Hmm.
from their phone, like they're not even going out, they're not going to Vegas to gamble, they're just playing roulette on their phone
Yeah.
on a on an app, and like all these drugs are becoming more legalized and partying is becoming like it just seems like we're becoming more depraved, you know what I mean, and that's kind of the mark of every big civilization's fall, and it just seems like we're kind of like there's something I think when like you become too spoiled and things are too good, there's too much excess and glutton, we don't know how to reel it in and keep our sanity.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good point. We live in this hedonism state where it's
And think about
pleasure all the time.
and it's like your phone. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but like I just
No, it's
your
okay.
when your phone like your phone is like constantly like validating all your feelings all the time. Like it knows how to make you feel good all the time.
Hmm.
And it keeps feeding you more and more and more of what makes you feel good. Like our
Hmm.
social media algorithms. And we're all getting validated like that all the time.
Yeah.
And that's before you even log on Pornhub or go to an online casino. You know what I mean?
Just the light of the phone itself,
The
you know.
colors.
Yeah.
It's like biohacking you.
And it's just unlimited amounts of pleasure constantly. Photos, videos, YouTube, Netflix, gambling, porn, games, you name it. You can do it, And like so much of my business is allocated to the phone. It's like it's hard to, use it for pleasure versus creation versus work versus whatever it is. Like it's one of those devices that you use for a lot of things, and that's what makes it difficult. Tim Ferriss, super smart guy, doesn't have any social media apps on his phone anymore because it's
I
like
wish I could do that.
try having the discipline to not use them when they're there. He goes, it's like bringing a knife to a gunfight. It doesn't work. So
It's
he just
like bringing an
doesn't.
alcoholic to a freaking beer factory. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
right. You
Like,
just like it's like you can't have them on your phone and expect not to use them because they're engineered for you to use them and keep you engaged as long as possible. And just to have the pure discipline not to do it is very, very difficult. So you don't have them on your phone, period. But so much of today's businesses are run on the internet, which, we're all learning to balance. We're all learning to balance it right now in real time, figuring out how to use it as a tool and not let it use us,
mm,
right? We're trying to use these features as tools appropriately and not let it use us, and constantly understand that we are being conditioned the more self-aware. Now, self-awareness, like the more self-aware you can become, like I think self-awareness is an ongoing game because you change. The things that you want change, the things that you're trying
yeah.
to do change, your goals change, like everything changes. So to become more aware of those feelings and aware of the world is crucial for humanity to thrive. And not everybody has to, but enough people do. I don't know what that number is worldwide, but enough people have to develop this next level understanding of self-awareness in order for this. I mean, I'm pretty optimistic. I
I
like to
am
think
too.
that the best is still yet to come. Patrick Bet David says it himself. The future looks bright. The future looks bright t-shirts and hats are being sold now on valuetainment.com. The top 10 connectors are going to be coming with us to Casa de Angelo and have dinner and cigars in a cigar lounge. And the future looks bright. Sorry.
I think no, but I actually agree with him on that, that the future does look bright. I think
I
right
agree too.
now we're in this like huge, we're in a very pivotal time period where everything is changing so quickly and it's like causing stress to the system. But I don't think, one, I don't think we're gonna break. I just think we're gonna change things and it's gonna get better. Like right now is like we're in the worst of it. You know, we just had a pandemic and all that came with that, all the nonsense.
I
And we're in
feel
an
like though,
election.
dude, Jake, and every year and every 4 years or whatever, every round comes back around, it's like always the same. It's like the president got fucking assassinated on live television in the 60s.
That's my point. Is like
You
this
know what I
how
mean?
how bad it feels right now. We've been here before. Like it's been worse than it is right
Yeah.
now.
Dude, the
Like
president
we
was
had a
killed
world
on TV.
that 20 years before that we were in the middle of World War II and 90 million people were being murdered in three different countries and that's not even
Yes.
including the deaths of the war.
Yes.
That's just Hitler's death camps, Soviet Union's famine and Mussolini's just dictator deaths. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, dude, the
that's not
world
even
has,
the we've been in way worse positions in the world. And it's
yeah,
like,
like I also like to believe that we're also built for this time. That's why we have to
yeah,
keep navigating the waters. We have to keep learning some of how the world works today. And we're learning how to navigate the internet world. We're learning how to navigate our own physical world and how we interact with the third dimension. We're learning to just, I don't know, thrive in this moment,
it's just problem
as
solving.
unique as it is. This is a unique moment, and I wouldn't change it for anything.
Yeah.
I love doing what I'm doing. I love just being a human being and being grateful and present for the moment that we're in right now, and learning how the world works and how we're dancing with nature. And
Yeah.
so much of it is like our attitude, so much of it is our effort that we put in, so much of it is becoming more self-aware, having the right group of people around us to encourage us, prime our brains and our minds for just being in one harmonious union with nature.
Hmm.
and learning that and understanding the cues for putting us back into that flow state, that momentum, that thing that brings the best out in us, whatever that
Hmm.
is, and to understand the faults and the low points and understand how to get out of them and keep that dance going. Any
Yeah.
closing thoughts, Jake Fine?
If you're stressed out, figure out what's stressing you out, get better from it, and I think that's that we're in a stressful time, and the people who can navigate those waters properly with balance and maintain their sanity, we're gonna come out of this better. So I think that's just the name of the game, and I think that's what we talked about today. Just navigating all that, figuring out how to balance your nervous system and be optimal. That's what all this is about, right?
Yeah, that's what all this is about. Ultimately, stress can be a good thing. Too much of it's a bad thing. But pick your stressors so they don't pick you.
Boom,
Got it? That's
boom.
it. All right, bro. That was great. I'll see you next week.
Yes.
All right. You can just maybe pause the recording and then let's chat real quick about